Hi, my name is Shaka V. Greer, and I'm an arts and culture writer here in Toronto. And I'm very pleased to be interviewing Meesha Shafi. She is a singer, she is an actor, she's a model, and she's also an artist. So welcome, Meesha. It's great to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Thank you
And
so much.
so we'll be chatting. I have a bunch of questions for you, but before we get there, can you introduce to the audience what the clip is we're about to see of your music?
So the video that you're going to see is a very compact sort of like crash introduction of my work.
Okay.
You will see a little bit of me as an artist and the music that I was doing when I started off 10 years ago, about a
Yeah.
decade ago.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to sort of like brackets, fast forward to the last 2 years and what I've been doing lately, because the direction and the sensibility has sort of changed, and I've gone off into a new direction where I'm now incorporating my background in theater, the visual arts, and sort of
Wow.
curating my performances in a
Yeah.
different way.
Okay.
And also, yeah, so 3 songs that I've highlighted, I have done many more, but
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm focusing on
Great.
as a little action to my work. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll see that clip now and we'll see you on the other side of it. Thanks.
ਚੁਗਣੀ ਧਾਰ ਖਾਈ ਵਿੱਚ ਥਾਲ
ਚੁਗਣੀ ਧਾਰ ਖਾਈ ਵਿੱਚ ਥਾਲ
ਛੱਡ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਜੰਜਾਲ
ਛੱਡ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਜੰਜਾਲ
ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਭਣਾ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ
ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਭਣਾ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ
ਓ ਚੁਗਣੀ ਧਾਰ ਖਾਈ ਵਿੱਚ ਥਾਲ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਜੰਜਾਲ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਭਣਾ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਰੱਖੀ ਸਾਬਤ ਸਿੱਧਕ ਅਮਾਲ ਨੂੰ ਪੀਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਯਾਰ
ਚੁਗਣੀ ਜੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਅੱਲਾ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਚੁਗਣੀ ਜੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਅੱਲਾ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਚੁਗਣੀ ਜੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਬੀ ਪਾਕ ਦੀ ਚੁਗਣੀ ਜੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਬੀ ਪਾਕ ਦੀ ਚੁਗਣੀ ਜੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਮੌਲਾ ਦੀ
दर्द फिरा खुल के यहाँ बन जाए
Hi, we're back, and we've just seen a clip by Meesha. And so I wanted to jump right into talking because, as I've discovered about you, but many people already know, you're a multi-talented artist. But I want to start off with when did you fall in love with music?
At a very, very early age, about my earliest memories include music. I was also raised in an environment where that was cultivated. There was a lot of patrons of music, a very cultured atmosphere, and a lot of exposure at a very early age. And a lot of exposure to very great music, very diverse range of music from the world over, and also very culturally rooted. So, so yeah, I had a very kind of global lens
Yeah.
and wide taste to pick from. And I started singing very, very, very early, like maybe 4 or 5 years. Around the same time, I was like talking and singing at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
go on.
yeah.
When did you
Um,
know that it was going to become a career?
I never know anything from before. Just like
Yeah.
just kind of happened. It's but looking back now in retrospect, a lot of it's been a lot of serendipity, you know.
Yes.
I just sort of, it sounds like a cliche, but I've just done the things I enjoy doing, and doors have opened for me. And that's exactly what happened with music. I was acting and modeling a lot more
Yes.
professionally, and that's how I was making my money. When I got, I mean, I was trying out for a college concert. I was in art school, and I went and sang a song, and somebody who had a band came and said, just join our band. And we
Yeah.
released our first album, and it
Yeah.
made the headlines. And it just like, I've just been watching it happening and
Happen.
going with the, and yeah.
Yeah. It's
So,
interesting because you were in a rock band before. So this ties into like that diverse background you have that some people might not know. But one thing, you might be new to some of the people watching, but you're very famous in your birth country, Pakistan, and you've had a really vibrant career. So I wanted to know, now that you're living in Canada, you have been for 2 years, do you feel like you're expanding into a new territory musically? How has that process been? And have you picked up influences being here?
uh, what I'm finding very exciting about suddenly sort of like being transplanted and finding myself in a new environment is that there's a whole uh, rich pool and of musicians and influences from around the world, because Toronto is such a culturally diverse place. There are people from all around the world, and they're bringing all their influences, I guess, much like myself,
Yeah.
um, into this soundscape. And there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of exciting collaborations and potential sort of exchange of ideas, and just a fusion of different cultures and different sounds, even languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am finding that really interesting and very inspirational. I'm working on something which hopefully I would love to sort of like um, showcase all of that,
Yeah.
because these are, I consider these resources and opportunities. So yeah.
So when you're here and when you're so well known in a country for your acting and modeling and music, and you come into a new space, did that kind of feel freeing? Did it feel like you can recreate yourself a bit?
It feels both freeing. Yes, it is liberating, because you
Yeah.
get a chance to sort of come full circle and have a blank canvas in front of. That's exactly how I felt, at least. I get to go back to the drawing board
Yes.
and
Yeah.
what I want to do. Like, how do I want to write this chapter? And so it is exciting that way, because that, if there's an empty space or a blank canvas, then there's room for new ideas.
Exactly.
And I see that as as a time for and a chance for a reinvention.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very exciting to see what, like what colors I want to fill into the blank spaces.
Yes.
And it's also daunting.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly, it's both polarities. It's
Yes.
also it's also kind of made me feel like, do I need to completely forget and let go of everything that that has defined me, basically?
Mm-hmm.
So it is a big, like, identity wise, it does become a very, like, it's a very internal, very sensitive process, uprooting yourself from your homeland, especially when your sense of identity is so sort of like publicly known.
Yes.
And it's like, everybody identifies with you and vice versa, in a
Yeah.
kind of
Yes. Yes.
representative, iconic way.
Mm.
So it does kind of feel a bit shaky, but also exciting. I think I thrive under pressure anyway.
Well, this brings me, when we were talking yesterday, you mentioned this exciting new project where you're kind of pushing limits and pushing boundaries and how daunting that is, but exciting. So, can you explain what's happening there?
Yeah, so I'm working on basically incorporating all of my skills and background in theater, the visual arts, music, of course, poetry. I write my own songs, and also bringing in a lot of multidisciplinary artists to do a collaborative audiovisual album.
Mm-hmm.
Which I want to release all at once, like one body of work. So it's basically like a thesis that I
Mm,
put up,
wow.
like a
Wow.
thesis. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
going to incorporate everything. It's going to be like one long um, book. It's like
Mm,
I am looking at it like a book, and it has pages and it has stories within it, and has a lot of different components. I'm collaborating with sculptors and painters and
wow.
yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've mapped it out in my head, and I'm busy songwriting and also sort of like visually translating the songwriting process parallel to each other, so that
Yeah.
everything gestates and develops simultaneously. Unlike when we do it the orthodox way, which is to make the song and then think of the video. So this is not going to be one song and one video. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. They're all kind of expanding from each other and tied with each other. You're also, this is going to be your first bilingual project?
Yes, it is. It's going to be bilingual.
Yeah.
This is something I realized recently while I was sitting down and going over my writings and my poetry from the past 2 years since I moved. And I realized that I'm writing a lot more in English since I came here.
Mm,
It's not because of any other reason, other than I think that kind of crept into my
yeah.
writing, not because I'm here, but also because I feel like it's just a natural sort of like trajectory. It's happened organically, is what I'm trying to say. And it's happened organically at this time because I feel like that sort of like confusion around identity when you migrate
Yes.
is coming into my awareness now, because in my creative process, when I talk to people or introduce my work, I do feel a little frustrated, and I never considered expressing myself artistically in English before. And over here, I do feel kind of a little frustrated because I don't want to be confined and I don't want to be put in a box.
Exactly.
I don't want to only be accessible, even comprehensively, to an audience which is limited to a certain language.
Mm-hmm.
So, because thematically, I am writing about a lot of very universal and philosophical themes. Sufism has been a big part of my journey. All my music, old and new and current, has been about spirituality and the greater conscious mind and the universe. And people are beginning to really get an understanding of
They
that
are.
now.
Yeah, they are.
And I just feel like I want to be able to what neo-Sufism that I'm going towards, as you saw in the video just now. A lot of these songs are about very large questions of who are we, what are we here for, what is our purpose, what do we share with each other, and what's the point, really?
Yeah.
It's
So
very simple. Yeah.
I want to get one thing in because we have a few more minutes. Just can you briefly explain how this pandemic, you told me, is kind of like stripping, you're letting go of some of the ways you had before. Can you briefly explain that?
So I have been, and I do count it as a blessing and a very important part of my journey. I've been involved in a lot of very glossy, high-end, high-budget
Yeah.
ventures and projects and productions, with like very large crews and like big sets and just a lot of hoo-ha, a lot of
Yeah.
gimmick, I think I kind of showed a bit of that in my video today as well. There's always been a lot of, and I've loved it. I've
Yes.
thrived on it. It's
Yeah.
great, an opportunity, a blessing. Not that I'm giving up on it,
Yeah.
but during lockdown, as I was sitting down to create, I just felt that a kind of liberation in rethinking how to execute things, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. Capitalism is really coming on, like in question. It's really being
Yes.
sort of
Finally.
reviewed by the common man. I think lockdown has done that. Like the average person is realizing how wasteful and how
Exactly.
tourism. It's vulgar, really.
It
It's
is.
vulgar,
Yeah.
and it does create a lot of unhappiness and a lot of stress. So we don't stop to enjoy things on a soul level. And so with this album, what I want to do is I want to nail it, and this is the challenge that I've put upon myself. I want to nail it and execute it in just as beautiful and expressive a way, without the gloss and
I love that.
yeah, without the fancy equipment, without
Yes.
the five people on lighting and
Yeah.
like couture being made and just all I just want to take the frills out.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
lockdown, I think we've all realized, like firsthand in our day-to-day lives, how very unnecessary, like around 80% of the things we do and surround ourselves with and consume and depend on and spend time on are. They're just distractions,
They
really.
are. Yeah. I love that. And I agree. This pandemic has made so much changes in my life as well, and questioning my art and my journalism. So I loved that, how that's changing your work as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. And so we're wrapping up now, but where can people find your music and where can they discover more about you?
Well, it's all over YouTube. And I'm also quite active on social media. I took a break
You
from
have a great
Facebook.
page. You have a great Insta.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried to stalk you. I couldn't find you,
Yeah,
but
I'm not. I'm not on Insta, but yeah, I will get on someday. Yeah.
discovered that. But thank you very much. I mean, I do enjoy Instagram because it's a visual platform, and it's safer, it's less political, it's less
Yeah.
sort of like negative. I have felt very sensitive
And you have a
recently.
website, so people can go there too.
A website, it's my name.com.
Okay,
Meesha
great.
Shafi. So
Great.
simple. Yeah.
So, Meesha, I'm excited that you were a part of this festival. I love your music, and it's been great speaking with you. And all of those who tuned in, I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out Meesha's music and her work. And thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.